In 2018, a 14-year-old girl walked off the brightly lit stage of a major televised talent competition, quietly turning her back on the very entertainment executives who promised to turn her into a global pop superstar overnight. Industry insiders at the time believed the young singer was making the most catastrophic mistake of her life. They were convinced her name would fade into complete obscurity within months, swept away by thousands of fresh talents waiting eagerly in line behind her. But instead of chasing sweet corporate promises, this young artist walked straight into her quiet suburban bedroom. She set up a simple microphone in the corner of her room, turned on a camera, and began building an international music powerhouse entirely on her own terms. Today, her performances have been heard hundreds of millions of times across every corner of the world, without a single major record label controlling her appearance, dictating her musical style, or slicing into her financial earnings. Yet, the strategic maneuvers used to reach this level of global dominance were far more calculated and high stakes than the public ever imagined. Most young singers who appear on primetime television end up trapped in predatory contracts that drain their earnings and destroy their creative freedom. They are frequently forced to surrender the rights to their own voices, give up artistic control, and accept a tiny fraction of the net revenue. When the television studio spotlights finally went dark, the traditional industry playbook demanded that Lucy Thomas immediately sign on the dotted line for a quick cash advance from corporate investors. But behind closed doors, a very different conversation was taking place. Media commentators asserted that she would quickly release a mass-produced commercial pop album to cash in on her fleeting television exposure. However, in a move that shocked everyone, she vanished from the mainstream entertainment circuit before any corporate executive could lock her into a legally binding deal. The public assumed her career had ended before it even truly began. But that wasn't the whole story. While corporate talent scouts were busy trying to manufacture the next artificial pop idol to turn a fast profit, Lucy was quietly executing a silent strategy alongside independent producer Chris Broom at Cavendish Records. Their initial move seemed utterly bizarre according to the rules of modern pop music. They completely skipped renting out recording studios that cost thousands of dollars per hour, refused to use heavy vocal manipulation, and hired zero backup dancers. Lucy chose to record directly from her own home. With warm lighting and an exceptionally intimate setting, every viewer watching her videos felt an immediate emotional bond, as though she were performing exclusively for them in their own living rooms. When her untouched vocal covers of timeless classics hit the internet, the digital recommendation engines didn't just push her videos slowly. They catapulted her content across international borders on a massive scale. And what happened next would shock everyone in the business. Her video uploads weren't merely gathering high view counts. They were generating a fiercely dedicated follower base, the kind of organic fan loyalty that legacy record labels spend millions of dollars trying to construct through artificial marketing campaigns. While major music companies were suffering massive losses on outdoor billboards and radio spots that no longer converted, Lucy's channel was racking up millions of views every single day without spending a dime on advertising. A single upload of her cover of Hallelujah crossed tens of millions of views in a remarkably short window. Fans around the world began asking how an independent singer from a small English town could outpace mainstream pop stars supported by dozens of high-priced public relations teams. The key secret wasn't just her extraordinary vocal range, but a digital positioning that intentionally broke every rule in the traditional music business handbook. But just as her global momentum was reaching its peak, rumors began to swirl that threatened to derail her independent journey. Behind the scenes, rumors circulated that executives at major music labels were becoming increasingly unsettled by the organic dominance this young singer was achieving. Speculation surfaced that repeated off-the-record attempts were made to acquire the management rights to her independent channel for astronomical sums, all to shut down a self-sustaining business model that threatened traditional corporate profit structures. Other whispers suggested there was subtle pressure for her to alter her wardrobe and song choices to match controversial, fast-moving teenage trends. But instead of giving in to financial pressure or commercial demands, Lucy and her team doubled down on their original strategy. They closed the door on external negotiations and maintained total ownership over every single piece of content released. This daring refusal to accept corporate funding acted as the fuel for a second, even larger surge in global viewership. To elevate her content and ensure her audience stayed hooked without getting bored of the same format, her visual strategy took a dramatic leap forward. Lucy didn't just stay solo in front of the lens. She began bringing her own family members into the spotlight. Introducing her sister, Thomas, for high-harmony vocal duets created dramatic, inducing moments that viewers on the internet devoured. Beyond that, on special occasions, her mother joined in to add subtle vocal depth, making the home environment feel even warmer. This wasn't just a spontaneous family sing-along. It was a brilliant brand-building execution. Viewers no longer felt like they were watching a musician trying to sell a product. They felt like invited guests witnessing authentic moments inside a talented household. This humanized approach effectively insulated her channel against changing pop trends that usually fade every few months. Yet, holding millions of digital views is one thing. Turning those numbers into a sustainable, multi-million-dollar empire is where most content creators hit a wall. Without ever depending on national radio play or editorial playlist placements on streaming apps, this independent operation rolled out a remarkably disciplined monetization system. In a relatively short period, they independently produced and released 6 full-length studio albums. By retaining complete ownership over every step of production and distribution through Cavendish Records, Lucy kept the lion's share of profits from every physical album sold, every piece of official merchandise, and every digital stream. This absolute financial independence gave her the backing she needed to step out from her bedroom onto the world stage. Without relying on corporate advance loans, she headlined and completely sold out live concert performances in the prestigious West End Theatre District of London. She proved to the entire world that an artist no longer needs a massive corporate loan when they hold a direct line to their core fan base. And the broader implications of this blueprint have created serious anxiety across executive suites. For decades, legacy music labels built their power on convincing young artists that signing with them was the only gateway to international success. The model established by Lucy Thomas completely shattered that illusion beyond repair. She proved that artistic integrity, consistent content delivery, and direct ownership of copyright can easily outperform the deepest corporate pockets of the old system. Lucy didn't just build a flourishing vocal career. She exposed a massive flaw in the traditional music industry machine that operated behind closed doors for generations. As modern technology hands creative power directly back to independent artists, legacy gatekeepers are losing their grip on global culture. Lucy Thomas demonstrated that no creator needs a corporate monolith standing behind them when they have the grit to build an empire from the comfort of their own home. It raises a fascinating question for the future of entertainment. How many other future superstars are sitting in their bedrooms right now, getting ready to bypass the traditional system and rewrite the rules of the game forever?